What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Weekend Wagers, where we get you a little 12-pack of plays to get you ready for this weekend. And man, I am excited for the weekend. I'm excited for a lot of football. We're closing in on the end of the season. We're closing in on the championship games, the division championship games, but also then we're going to go to the Super Bowl. There's so much that we have happening right now. And so I hope you'll all join us as we continue this journey and just having a good time. But as you all know, we always take a look back at how we did last week. And looky here, your boy went 4-0 again. You can't make that up. I think I might be the only person that has went 4-0 in the show. And now I'm officially the only person has gone 2 4-0s. And so it's a beautiful thing. And then Robbie goes 2-2. And so somehow Robbie always figures out a way. And then he has an asterisk. I have no idea what in the world that's about, but we'll get into all of that with Robbie here shortly. But if you see to the far left, that looks very familiar with last week's screen. No, that's not last week's screen. That's actually this week's screen. This man, Mark, decides to go 4-0 back-to-back weeks. I'm sorry, 0-4 back-to-back weeks. I don't even know if you can make that up. So anyway, enough about Mark. We're going to go ahead and move on from him. And as you can see, we did away with Mark because there were some issues that we were having. And you can't go 0-4 back-to-back weeks and expect to be on the show, Robbie. Like what's going on with him and how are you?
Oh, doing great, DG. I didn't go 0-4, so I'm feeling fantastic. Yeah, I mean, you can't be on a professional betting show and go 0-8 in 2 weeks. Just can't happen.
Not with professionals. But before everybody, we get ahead of ourselves. I'm going to kind of pause because, Robbie, you have not seen this. You have not read this, but I want to read this to everybody because I feel like the Weekend Wagers, the crew, we're family. So let me read this. This is from the desk of Mark Waldo Wallis. Dear Weekend Wagers fans around the world, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to offer my sincere apologies for making 4 bets recently and losing every single one of them. Well, you could have said that last week as well. I realize that my actions have caused frustration, disappointment, or even concern, and I deeply regret that. In hindsight, I see that I was impulsive in my decisions. I didn't fully consider the consequences, and I take full responsibility for my losses, and I understand the importance of making thoughtful, informed choices rather than acting on instinct and impulse. One, he sounds really smart, but I'm not sure I'm buying it just yet. But I want you to know that I've learned from this experience. I'll be more mindful moving forward. I truly value the trust and support you've shown me, and I'm committed to making better decisions in the future, both in my actions and in my words. Maybe one day I can live up to the standard that you and DG, Robbie and DG, have fully set for me. Thank you for understanding, and I truly appreciate your patience as I work through this lesson. Sincerely, Mark Waldo Wallis. Robbie, do you buy that at all?
I think he's sincere. Waldo is a good middle name because you can't find any of his winning picks anywhere. So that's a perfect middle name for Mark. I don't really buy it, if I'm honest. It sounds sincere, but I think he went and got in Soupy's dictionary and just made up a lot of words and just wrote them down.
Yeah, that I'd have to say that that wasn't him all the way. I think there's some AI playing into it somewhere, but I felt it in my heart for him. And so I'm going to ask you, if it's okay with you, do you feel that we should allow him back on the show?
I mean, sure. Why not? Been one of those weeks. Let's just add Mark back to it and see if he can go 0-12.
Mark, you there?
Yeah, I am here. Let me tell all of you something. You think, first of all, that was a very flowery letter. That never, ever came from this. I'm not that flowery guy. You looking for touchy-feely? Not here, pal. I stand by the numbers. And I'm going to tell you what. Yeah, I went 0-8. And it sucks. There's not a worse feeling in the world. But you know what? At my lowest moment, when I was down on my ass, did I back down from anything? No. Did I stay true to the process? Absolutely. And what did I do? I went toe-to-toe with Rafael Esparza's little stat of the day. Always winning, right? Not against this kid. No, it did not. You can't punish me, DG. You can't punish me, Rob. I already won. So let's go. I'm ready to kick off this weekend. I am fired up, and I am bringing it.
All right. Well, hello to you too. I guess you're excited.
Nice.
Yeah. We're excited that we let you back on the show, I guess. I will have to say, though, Brian Tonsoni says if you go 0-4 again, that will be a 12-pack of losses. In case you're interested in getting another 12-pack, like that would be another way of doing it.
I'll tell you what. These picks.
Don't say it.
Oh, I'm going to say it. You know why?
Don't.
Because I'm not scared. I am not scared. I don't back down. I trust the process. There will not be a third consecutive 0-4 week. Or these locks that most men in their 30s can't find. I'll shave it off just because I can. I will do it on the show.
There's no way. No way that's true. No
Absolutely.
way you do that.
No.
Absolutely. Hand to God. If I go 0-4 3 weeks in a row, absolutely I'm shaving my head.
You're gonna do it live on camera?
I'll do it right here.
Watch.
Look at this.
All right, listen. Brian says he still can't hear because school is still in session. But as Town Tizzle says, the hair is on the line, and I cannot actually cheer more against you than I will this week. And
Look,
so
you know what's
every
funny?
single week.
You know what's funny is both Peyton and Soupy, whenever they're like, "Oh, put the beard on the line," or Peyton, shave your head. I'm too scared. You know why? They don't believe in what they do. I believe in what I do. It's not going to happen.
Well, the only thing I will say is I hope you lose the Friday pick or however many Friday picks you have, because I want you sweating for another day. I don't want you, if you do win, I don't want it to be Friday because that makes you all feel good and you'll be talking trash the entire time. We're not going to do that. So I hope you somehow lose the first one because we're not going to continue on with it throughout the weekend. I'm not going to hear from you all weekend, Mark. Not if you go 0-8 the last 2 weeks. But anyway. We're excited to be here. We wanted to make sure that we had this show. Truthfully, it's been a very weird week to say the least. But we didn't want to kind of let anything that's been happening kind of get into the way of this show. And so there might be issues going along, but there are no issues with us three. And so we're going to power through this show, and we're going to make sure that we're here for you to get your 12-pack of plays to get you to the weekend. But we're also going to have a little fun in the Slapshot Saloon, as we always do. But there's only 2 games in the NHL. So we're going to do the Slapshot Saloon for both games tonight, because why in the world would they have just 2 games on a Friday night when there's not much else going on? There's no football going on. Put on more NHL, but whatever. I'm not an NHL fan. I have no idea what actually I did in choosing the guys, but I just kind of threw a dart and I hit my guy. So I'm going to be the first one gets in this week for sure. But let's go ahead and get into our plays. Robbie, I'm going to let you go first because I'm not sure I want to start off on a loss. So Robbie, what you got this week?
Yeah. So before I even get into my pick, that asterisk beside Ovechkin last week, I said on the show, if he doesn't score tonight, he will score tomorrow night against Nashville. Well, he did. Not only did he score against Nashville, DraftKings had a plus 105 odds boost on anytime goal scorer. You can ask Dan Clark. We both played that and cashed it at plus 280. That's why there's an asterisk, because I was halfway wrong. Anyway, tonight, Jason Zucker, revenge game. He's playing Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is god-awful. Zucker has 11 points in his last 10 games overall, 7 goals and 4 assists. Pittsburgh's a bottom-tier defense. They're ranked, I think, dead last in goals allowed, and they're also terrible on the penalty kill. They have Alex Nedeljkovic in goal tonight. They dropped their big-time goalie Tristan Jarry to waivers, and he's so great, nobody in the NHL even wanted to pick him up. So they're playing a backup goalie, not that good. Jason Zucker, revenge game. That's my pick for the night.
I like it. Little revenge, always good. Hopefully he didn't put his hair on the line as well. But we're going to go back to my pick here. We're going to leave Mark last because honestly, we don't want to give out losers. The very first picks, we'll let him kind of we'll let him be the bottom or the caboose. By God, we should have just made you go last by yourself. 4 in a row. Just give it to us in 30 seconds and get out of the way. But I'm going to go with mine. It's going to be Josh Hart, over 10.5 rebounds at plus 115. He's had 11 plus rebounds in 12 of the last 13, but also going against Minnesota here, who allows the 4th most to the going against most rebounding. I don't know why I have RB. I have for a running back here in my notes, but rebounding for the shooting guard. And so at that point, I like Josh Hart. He's on fire. He's doing a lot of little things that, that really you need to be a good winning team. Well, he does that for this New York Knicks team. And so I like him to go over his line tonight. But Mark, go ahead and finish this up for some Friday.
Look, we're going to start off in the win column. We're going to take the Buffalo Sabres on the first period money line. In the last 4 home games that the Sabres have had, they are 3-0-1 in the first period. They are a first period machine. Unfortunately for the Sabres, that's where it stops for them. They lose games in the third period, especially. Their goal differential is just disgusting. So I am taking the Sabres, the first period money line at minus 125, and we're going to get this thing kicked off right.
I like it. All right. Well, we have some questions in the chat. I want to get to them real quick because I want to make sure that I don't lose them. Because one, thank you all for hanging out with us. We want to make this show live to everybody, for today. And so I want to make sure we had that. And so if there's more people in here than others, thank you for hanging out with us. But first of all, Dan likes my pick. He gave that out this morning. I didn't see that, but hey, me and Dan are always spot on. Our thinking is very close to the same. So a little synergy action there. But then we have Brian Peterson, who says, what do you think about the Bucks first quarter team total over? OKC's first quarter team total over seems like a good teams to beat up on early. So I do like OKC and the Bucks. They've been playing well lately. I don't have my numbers in front of me. Mark, do you by any chance have those numbers in front of you?
I'm looking at who do you want?
Either one of those teams, either the Bucks or actually I do have it. I printed it out this morning. So this is not good.
OKC's scoring 30.4 in the first quarter and 59.8 in the first half on the road.
Yeah, so they're going against a Dallas team. Just looking at this real quick. Who that was? Is that Brian Peterson? I believe it was. Yeah, Brian Peterson. Sorry, I was trying to get back from this screen. So you asked about, let's go to OKC first. They're playing on a back-to-back after that big win, which is a little scary, but they've been playing well, especially after a blowout. I'm okay with them after a blowout. But with them 30.4 and then 54 allowed for 26.7 allowed, 26.4 allowed. 26.7 allowed for Dallas. And so you're right there at it. I don't know what the number is. I would assume it's 27, 28 and a half, maybe 29 and a half. I'm okay if you want to get 30 there because I don't think that Dallas has been scoring a lot, especially the last time I think Kyrie came back. They're still trying to figure out and get him antiquated within their team a little bit. So, Mark, any thoughts on that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually looked at that as an angle to hit for tonight. The only thing, because the line's at 29.5 for OKC in the first quarter. And that was my only concern was on the second night of a back-to-back. Are they really going to come out really running that hard? It might take them, that first quarter to get things going. I do like the first half play. I do think that eventually they get back in the swing of it and go.
Do you know that line?
For the first half was at 53.5.
Yeah. No, I like that as well. I like that one. The first half I like. The Milwaukee first quarter I love. I don't know what that is. It can't be over 29.5, right? If we'll look at that real quick, but sorry to spend so much time on that. Actually, me and Mark been working on doing something. So we have a little bit of a model that we've kind of, that's what we're both looking at currently and looking at all the numbers. And so it spits out all the information. We can kind of share it. And so I've been trying to dial it in, but do you have the number for Milwaukee in the first quarter?
30.5.
So right there on it.
Yeah, that's again, that was a real close. It's almost there was no advantage to it.
Yeah, it's right there on it. I would say wait because toward game time, you do get a little bit more of a lower number. They're starting to do that. I've been seeing lately. So they've been juicing a little early, and then they'll fall down the number depending on if anybody sits. If anybody plays, they might leave it the same. But if anybody sits at all, they might actually move it down. So good question. But I do like them both. If you can get lower numbers, great. But I'd say I like them both to score 30, if that helps you. I know that probably doesn't. How come the crew doesn't have recap exclusive picks? I don't know if that question, Chicago Pat, is we aren't doing crew exclusives right now because nobody's been on the show. But there's no recap just because I don't think they want to bring attention to that and honestly track it. It ends up being too much that we put on the screen. And so I think that's why is you don't want to put everything on the screen. It's mainly just to have picks. And honestly, on the crew exclusive, I kind of like to have fun with those and give a little bit more of a plus money. And not everybody's the same. I try to do plus money plays that you wouldn't have to put a full wager on, but ones that, hey, are really good looks that'll pay off over time, but maybe like a plus 200, plus 250, or maybe like a double plus 150. So that's what. So anyway, long story. Sorry to kind of keep it going so long on that one, but let's get back on track real quick. We're already halfway through the show, and we haven't got to Saturday yet. So, Robbie, I know you got a pick. Let's go ahead and go to Saturday.
Yeah, I got a couple picks, and both of them are in the Kansas City Houston game. First pick, Samaje Perine over 8.5 receiving yards. I put this on JustTheStatSports.com on Tuesday. He's been nothing but a wagon for me. I've been betting this when Pacheco went down, when Kareem Hunt came in. It doesn't matter. On third downs, that is Mahomes' guy. Houston, for as bad as they've been, has a good pass rush. So I could see them getting after Mahomes and him needing to check down to Samaje on third downs. I think we cashed this in one catch. Second one, going to Travis Kelce, over 50.5 receiving yards. It's minus 130 on Fanatics where I got it. I think that line may have actually gone down to minus 120. But it's the playoffs, man. It's Travis Kelce. You saw him and Mahomes on Christmas when it's the big game and the lights shine brightest. He's going to come out and play. I know he hasn't looked like Kelce all year, but it's time to suit up and actually man up. So I see him going easily over 50.5 yards. Last 13 playoff games, I think he's averaging around 77 or 78 receiving yards in each game.
And I hear his lady friend is not in concert or whatever anymore. She's not on tour. So she'll probably be there, more than likely. And you got to show out for your girl, right? That's understood.
Yes.
Mark doesn't have a clue about that. All right, let's keep it going to my play. I only have one for Saturday. It's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, 80-plus rushing yards at minus 122. You can find this at 80.5, 81.5, 82.5, all over. But the juice was like minus 115 to minus 118 all around. And so I found on FanDuel, it was 80-plus, which is why it's labeled like that, 80-plus rushing yards. As an alternate 9 at minus 122. The juice wasn't that high to make sure I had a solid number, but he's had 109 plus rushing yards the last 3 games, and Washington allows the 4th most rushing yards to their running back in the regular season. So they allowed Bucky Irving 77 last week, and I don't worry about David Montgomery too much. He's coming back from injury. They're going to continue to ride Jahmyr Gibbs no matter what, and so they don't want to put him out there for, Montgomery out there for too much. And so I like Gibbs to go 80 plus. So let's
Montgomery's receiving. I was going to cut you off real quick. Montgomery's receiving yards is at 14.5. I would look at that for a play as well. If they came close to being a pick on the show, I'll probably make that pick before Sunday or Saturday, whenever they play. But Montgomery over 14.5 is cash in like 9 out of 10 of his games.
I like it. I appreciate it. I was laughing at Dan beating a dead horse while it's already dead. Mark, are you alive?
Oh, I'm right here.
All right, give me a loser. What you got?
We're going to start with Austin Eckler over 47.5 rushing and receiving yards. That's at minus 125. Look, I think the game script for Washington is going to be very similar as we saw them kind of write for themselves in Tampa with some success. Obvious success. They won the game. But against Detroit, they're going to have to rely on Eckler to really be that safety valve for Jaden Daniels. I think that with Detroit, with the rest that they've had, they're going to come out. They're going to be refreshed. That defense it's still pretty porous in the secondary, but I really expect Eckler to get outside of the box with with the check down passes and running back screens, and that's going to allow him to really rack up the yards in this one. They're going to have to use him in a rushing game just to keep Detroit honest on the line. but I really see the majority of his yards coming from the receiving end.
All right, you got one more for Saturday?
For Saturday, we're going to go to the ice again. We're going to take the Golden Knights in Chicago, the total over 6. That's at -111. The Golden Knights will be on the second night of a back-to-back. They're obviously playing tonight down in Carolina. In those games, they are 5-1 this season, and they have a goal differential of 1.75. I'm taking the over in this simply because Chicago's horrible. They suck. Mesrick in goal for the Blackhawks has been absolutely horrible. He's been playing with a kind of an injury that he hasn't really fully disclosed, and the team is, keeps shuffling him out there and asking him to do things. Oh, there we go. Asking him to perform, and it just isn't working. So I really like the over to hit in this one. Oh, by the way, the over is hit in 4 of the last 5 home games for Chicago.
All right, I like it. Listen, I completely understand, and I have empathy towards somebody who just relies on somebody and they never come through. You know what I mean? Like, you rely on people to give out good plays and they just can't come through. Robbie, have you ever felt like do you ever have that with somebody in your life?
Yeah, and it hurts. It really hurts because we all,
hurt.
you put in a lot of work and a lot of effort, and yeah, I understand, DG. I feel you.
Yeah, we'll call him the Blackhawk since sometimes they're considered losers. All right, let's keep it going again, and this is your legit punishment, Mark. This is it. You got to wear it. We had other stuff we had much more fun things in store, but as you know, S hit the fan. We've kind of had to make some adjustments. So that's why this punishment today has kind of looked a little bit like this. It's been on the fly. I just kind of made it up myself. I'm just kind of making fun of Mark for the end of time until he finally gets back on track. But Robbie, you're going to finish this up with for your Sunday play, and we'll keep it going through Sunday.
Yeah, actually, I think Detroit plays Saturday night.
God,
so I don't actually have a Sunday play. You took over Sunday this week. Yeah, man, you took over Sunday this week. I'll let you have that one.
So did you already give out St. Brown?
I didn't. I gave because, yeah, like you, I thought it was on Sunday as well.
All right, let's go to it.
Anyway, Amon-Ra St. Brown over 20.5 longest reception. Found that at FanDuel. It's at 22.5, 23 at other books. It's been well documented that he's not happy with De'Ami Brown going before him in the draft. Kind of like Michael Jordan, you always look for ways to make yourself better. Even if it's something that doesn't exist. I'm sure he's saying in his head, De'Ami thinks he's better than me. I'm going to go out there and prove it this week, and I'm going to prove it to Washington what they should have drafted me over him. Also, Washington is just a funnel for longest receptions. 2 guys from Tampa, Evans and McLaren, McMillan, whatever his name is, can't think right now. They both went over that number. The week before, Dallas had Jalen Tober and Turpin both go over this number. So the Washington defense is susceptible to the long ball, and I think with Amon-Ra being as motivated as he is and Detroit overall being as motivated as they are, he's going to take over.
Robbie, do you see that as more of a shootout, or do you think Detroit handles them in that game?
I could see a shootout. I just wonder if Jaden's finally going to show some rookie woes in this one because he's going to be playing a pretty decent and motivated Detroit defense. Now, they are banged up, so he is getting a banged-up defense, but it doesn't seem like it's mattered. They just fill a guy in and they just keep rolling.
Yeah, I like it. Chicago Pat, Mark, just said I'm going to go to the Blackhawks game and bet the over.
Nice.
Hey, that Blackhawks over 1.5 in the first period has hit very consistently as well. So look for that first period over 1.5. It didn't hit last night because they ran into my juggernaut Predators, but they might get back on track tomorrow. All
right, let's keep it going. I'm going to go with my Sunday pick now that Saturday's completely done. I'm going to go with Justice Hill over the 22.5 receiving yards at -114. Buffalo allows the most receiving yards to the running back position. He also had 78 receiving yards earlier this season in a game where Henry went for 199 rush yards. So if you're wondering, do they give it to Henry and just kind of let him do his thing and just continuously run with him, but also Lamar? Yes, that could possibly happen. But out of the backfield, all we need is 23 receiving yards for Justice Hill. And then Khalil Shakir, 50-plus receiving yards. I did this again, the alternate, because the juice wasn't too much of a difference. But I got him 50-plus receiving yards at -120. He had 62 yards versus Baltimore earlier this season, and Baltimore allows the fourth most receiving yards to the wide receiver position. I know it worries me and it worries everybody else. Like, who does Josh Allen end up throwing to? I think Shakir has been his number one, no matter who is there and who's on the other side, whether it is Amari Cooper or if it is Keon Coleman. I still think that Shakir is going to be his guy. Plus, he's more the speedy guy. He's a slot guy, can kind of get into there, but he can also take one for yards, the yards after the catch. And so I like Shakir this weekend. So I know Japan's going to like that one. I don't know if I've seen him here today, but I know Japan will like that one. So, all right, that's all I have. So, Mark, go ahead and finish us off. I know you got one Sunday pick. What you got, man?
That's right. We are going to go with Derrick Henry over 19.5 rush attempts, and that's at -110. Look, this game in Buffalo, it's going to boil down to the superstars. And with Buffalo's rush defensive woes, Henry's going to feast. His rushing line is set at 105, I believe, is what the line was at this morning. In every game where he's gone over 97 yards, he's done it with over 20 carries. So I love this spot. If Vegas thinks that he's going to get over 105 yards, I think that plays right into his rush attempts. What has me staying away from his rushing line is the weather. It's frigid. It's going to be frigid cold, not windy, but the chance of snowstorms. So I do think that slippery footing can decrease some yards per carry, but I really like him to get the carries and the attempts.
Okay, so if you're gonna look at that differently, so you're saying, hey, the snow could come into play with a guy in his yardage because maybe he can't cut enough to get those extra yardage that he normally would get. So you're talking about probably a difference of 15 to 20, at the max, right, on a number that big.
Well, you
figure still.
Yeah, you figure if the line for his rush attempts is at 19.5, and he's losing maybe a half a yard to 3/4 of a yard per carry because of on average,
right.
That you're talking about 10 to 15 yards being affected.
Exactly, and so at that point, you kind of want to trend away from that because you still think that they give him the rock enough where he can go for 20 plus. Rushing attempt. So I like that look, actually. That's your best play. That's the only one you're going to hit, probably.
What I just said, I just saw, was it Brian who said Mark's going to go 1-3 and win on the Eckler hook?
Right. Somehow, some way. That'll be the way we go for sure. But that is our picks so far. That's going to be our 12-pack that we have for you. But as you always know, we have just a little bit more for you. We call this the Slap Shot Saloon. I will show up, Randall Mims, and I will. Yeah, you're gonna show up at Memphis. Shave my head? No. Listen, I can't grow this much more. I think once I grow it out, if it shaves off, I think I'm done. I think, but I don't know. I actually read that earlier. I thought you were gonna come to Memphis, and I was gonna shave your head. I didn't realize you're gonna try to shave my head. So, but we don't. I have all the hope in the world that we're not going to get a 4-0 from Mark. We've seen a little track record for sure. No, Seth, he's not too. But we call this the Slap Shot Saloon because there's only 2 games tonight in the NHL. We wanted to make sure that we had a play and a little fun. We haven't got in yet, boys. Tonight, that changes. Let's get the Slap Shot Saloon. All right, boys, let's do a little Slap Shot Saloon picks. But before we get to ours, give a little shout out to Dan Long and Joe Neuenfeld. Both guys now have predicted the first goal scorer. And the first goal scorer has to be 1,000 or more. Play along with us if you don't mind. We'd like to have some fun. But if you want to get into the saloon with us, we're going to go ahead and give you our picks and see if you can get in as well. So go ahead and give us your plays, your guys who you like. But we're going to go ahead, and they can't be the same as anybody in the chat, and they can't be the same as anybody on the screen. But we're going to go ahead and start off with a Pittsburgh and Buffalo game. And Robbie, if you don't mind, lead us off, bud.
Yeah, going Jason Zucker at plus 1,600. I've already talked about how I like him to get a point tonight. Why not just make it the first goal of the game? revenge factor and all that's kind of what I'm factoring into it as well, and just Pittsburgh being terrible on defense.
All right. Well, I'm going to go next, and that's going to be Alex Tuck, plus 1,600. He's had 8 first-period shots on goal in the last 10 games, and he's had 2 goals coming in those first periods in the last 10 games. He had the first goal 2 games ago. I like it to happen again. He's due. That's who's due. Let's go ahead and go with Alex Tuck. Who you got over there, Mark?
Look, double D's didn't work for me last week. I'm going to double T's this week. We're taking Tage Thompson. Tage Thompson, not only does he score a ton of first period goals, he scores them fast. Here's a little nugget. If you wanted to take the first goal in that Buffalo-Pittsburgh game, a goal in the first 10 minutes, it's at minus 155, I believe is when I looked at it this morning. I almost put that down as my play because they score goals in the first 10 minutes like clockwork. In the last 6 games, a goal has been scored in the first 10 minutes. So I expect double T to come through in a very short period of time.
You know what, double T? I don't know if it reminds you the same thing. I'm going to give you a chance, Robbie. Anything you think of when you hear double T?
Yes, Jeff Jarrett.
J-E-double-F.
J-E-double-F. J-A-R-R-E-double-T.
Jeff Jarrett.
I got to throw him out of a radio station because I was security. I got to throw him out of a radio station here in Clarksville because he was trying to beat up the host.
Wow. There's
video
cool.
of it. It's on Z97.5 on YouTube if you're bored. Look up Jeff Jarrett, Clarksville, Tennessee. You'll see me in the background. Get to throw him out.
I love that. Real quick, we do have Malkin. Mim says Malkin plus 2,000. And then I see Jack Eichel. Is that for this game?
No, that's the next game.
I was just testing you guys. But I do know that Crosby does play for Pittsburgh still. But Tina says it's not double T's. It's like more like double T's. You know what I mean? That's a good one. I like a little pun. All right, let's go to the next one. I love Brian. I
do too.
Brian's one of my it better not get worse, Brian.
All right, let's go to the second game. We have 2 games here at the Shot Saloon. We're going to go Vegas, Carolina. Robbie, lead us off again.
Yeah, going Mark Stone plus 1,800. This one was kind of tricky because I'm terrible at betting anything with Carolina in it. I went back and forth between Eichel and Mark Stone. For some reason, I just landed on Stone. That's my expert analysis. It's also one of those things where there's 2 games, 2 chances for maybe one of us to get in this thing.
All right. Well, I'm going to go next with Pavo Dora. Who gives up? I don't know his name, but it's plus 2,000. And the reason I went with Pavo Doro is because he scored first in the last 2 games for this team. I don't even know who he plays for, but I know he's good, and I know he's going to score the first goal tonight. I just see Vegas. Sorry, I got to check my notes. Vegas. So Pavo Doro Hudawutsit plus 2,000.
Dorofeyev.
Yeah.
Dorofeyev.
Sure.
Dorofeyev.
All right, what you got there, Mark?
I'm going with Noah Hannafin at plus 5,000. Look, here's a little insider nugget. The Carolina Hurricanes have conceded the first goal of a game in 7 of their last 10 home games. 6 of those goals have come from defensive men. Noah Hannafin is on the defensive line for Vegas. I expect him to get plenty of looks.
I like it. Well, definitely. I hope somebody gets in. Not gonna lie, I want somebody from one of us on the show to get in the saloon. This has been horrible that we've been this far back. I'm not even gonna try to say that name.
Barbershop.
Sure, but I promise you, John, if I get in before any of these guys,
oh god,
it will be worse than if I got in before Coach. I promise. It'll be even worse than that. So I'm going to make sure that we're going to make sure that I'm getting in somehow, some way. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited about, honestly, getting into the saloon and doing this because this has been a complete blast so far. So I know nothing about hockey except for I know I'm a professional hockey capper, but I don't know anything about it. I just know how to cap it, if you know what I mean. So let's keep this bad boy going. And you know what time it is. It is our Weekend Vibes, where we end the show each and every time. But thank you all for hanging out with us. We are the Weekend Wagers, boys. That is Mark, Robbie. I am Daniel. But let's go ahead and finish it off. If this is your first time watching us, we always end the show with our vibes for the weekend. That can be either good vibes or bad vibes. Robbie, let's just start again.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. It's a good weekend coming up. Well, for me, it's a 3-day weekend. No work on Monday. All the kids are finally getting over all the flu and all the junk. And shout out to my son. I'm here today because it's been one of those weeks. But my son is getting an award about 30 minutes ago at his school. I mean, he's a second grader, so who knows what it is. It's definitely not his grades. I've seen those, but he did something. And so I'm proud of him for getting his award. And going to celebrate by playing some Mario Kart tonight. See how long he can last. I told him he could stay up as long as he wanted to, since I had to miss today. So chat crew, I'm here for all you guys. I'm here because I like DG and Mark a little bit, and I feel like it got to help out, especially since Mark went 0-8. So they needed some green check marks on there, and to hear my lovely voice. So, and NFL football this weekend. We got the playoffs, baby. I'm ready.
Playoffs. Mario Kart, Robbie. Who's your guy? Who did you have one that you go with?
Donkey Kong.
Really?
Yep.
Why Donkey Kong?
Oh, I don't know. It's always been Donkey Kong for as long as I can remember. I think I've switched one time and played with Bowser, and he was too slow. So it's always just Donkey Kong.
Mark, do you play any Mario Kart?
I don't.
Well, you're missing out, Mark.
It might help you win some bets if you played some
on the
Mario
golf
Kart.
course. On the golf course, I do. I'll race on the golf course. If you're not rubbing, you ain't racing.
I love Mario Kart. I play with my girls, and they love me to play. One, because I'm better than them, and so it allows us to get more coins and tokens or whatever to get new stuff. I don't know. I'm asked to play often, which is, I'm never going to turn that down. Time with the kids, but also time playing a video game. But my guys that I love the most is Tanuki Mario. I don't know why his name is Tanuki Mario. He looks like a raccoon, I think. And then Wario. I don't know why, but those two have been killing it for me. They know it's the easy one. Yes. I skunk them. But then my wife gives me the look, and I somehow magically start doing bad. So sometimes I have to get that look. Seth plays with Luigi or Yoshi. I like it. All right, Mark, what you got for your weekend vibes?
Look, I think we all need good vibes this weekend, especially if I enjoy these. So I am asking the crew to channel all those positive vibes and send them my way. Let's roll.
I like it. All right, I'm gonna go with some good vibes and a little bad vibes. The bad vibes we'll say is, honestly, this was supposed to be an awesome week. It has not exactly turned out to be an awesome week, to say the least. And so with stuff that goes on in life, what I'd always say is be good to people. No matter what you do in life, it will always come around and bite you on the butt, no matter what side you're on and whatever. And this isn't to anybody in particular. This is to everybody in life. Like, be good to people. I promise you. Like, I didn't meet Mark and Robbie. I've never met them in my entire life, but we were good to each other. And when you're good to people, you end up clinging to good people, and you end up treating people the right way and the best way. And so whatever you can do is be good to somebody, because I promise you, no matter how they act or how anything else, that in the end, you can sleep at night. You can feel good about yourself. So treat everybody good. And this weekend, honestly, I'm excited. It's football still. Anytime you can have football, it's a fun time, because it's going to be gone very soon. Like we're literally, we have 3 weeks of football, and there's a week in between those 3 weeks. Well, I guess 4 weeks. There's a week in between those where you have some guys playing flag football. That's not going to be fun. That's going to be very boring. But I'm excited to actually have football back for the 3 more weekends really that we can bet on it. So it's going to be a good time. But boys, it's a fun show. You good, Mark? Anything else you got before we get out of here?
Look, I just I can honestly say that to your point when you're saying, I hope you lose on Friday so you can sweat at least one more day. There is not a worse feeling in the world when that first bet doesn't hit, and then you're like, okay, well, maybe on Saturday I'll get, and then as it starts to progress.
Yes.
And what the crew doesn't truly appreciate is the thousands of text messages that start blowing your phone up about, oh God, that was great call. Oh, good look on that one. It's just nonstop. And I can tell you, I am so looking forward to a Sunday of rest, of a very calm, relaxed, winning kind of weekend.
I just hope it's not Friday. I hope you have to at least go to bed tonight knowing that you lost one.
Let's go Buffalo.
I'm not putting any bad vibes on you because when I do that, I'm going 0-4. So
no doubt.
Good luck, Mark. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Good luck, man.
There is no good luck coming from me. I hope you go 0-4 again and go 0-12 over the last 3 weeks. I hope you come here with a bald head, and I hope everybody laughs at you. I hope that would give me an early birthday present, and it's not even close to my birthday, but I will take it. I will take it, by God. But that's all we got. The show is always a favorite of ours, and hopefully it's a favorite of yours. But we're going to continue to keep doing this because we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with you. But thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We had a blast. It's your Friday. It's your weekend. Take these 12 plays and enjoy yourself. And honestly, open a cold one for us, man. Pour one out for your homies for sure. But that's all we got. We'll see you all next time here at the Weekend Wagers.